what you've built is almost your own version of WrestleMania, the Body Slams to Cancer, which obviously is very personal to you and your family. But it's a great way of you creating the arc throughout the whole year. And I wondered if how early you start thinking that, planning for it, in terms of, normally obviously this year's been a bit different, but how early in the year do you start thinking we're building a story that we're gonna have an end at Body Slams to Cancer?
It's normally about the week after the event itself. That's when we start sitting down and thinking about, right, what directions do we want to go in? I say I have this much say, because if my brain does everything, then it becomes a real mess. I'm just watching around for my kid. She's running around somewhere. But yeah, it starts literally a week after, normally a week after the Body Slams to Cancer event. My input normally is out of the guys within the training school to keep the people who do the story writing and Becca, who can't always be around the gym, keep them updated as to who's putting in the effort, who deserves the opportunities, the bigger pushes, the things that we try and promote in Body Slams to Cancer, that attention that can be drawn onto them. And then, as with wrestling, things can change on a monthly, a daily, or an hourly basis from that moment. We try and take a bit of time off after the event just to, get our brains back into place. But yeah, it's a year-round thought process, to be honest.
Obviously, from all the events I've been to of yours so far, there's always great utilization of your own family life as involved in storylines. So there's been times when it's you and Becca are working in a combination, and times when you're feuding. And obviously what's been fantastic the last couple of years as well is the development with your brother, and how there's been a tag team scenario there, but also then a feud. How enjoyable has it been for you to be able to work with and against family members?
It's great. You can bring your personal life out with that stiffer punch every now and then, or put your wife through a table perfectly legally. No, it's a lot of fun. So I've always loved tag team wrestling. It was something I really enjoyed as a kid. And my brother coming in, he'd started wrestling in, let me think, 2012, I think he started. But he was so injury prone, and this is coming from me, who's got every injury there's ever been. So when he came back and said, right, okay, he wants to take it serious now, my dad asked me, or begged me in some way, to keep him calm, because if you've ever seen my brother perform, he does a lot of the dives off stages, flips and dives of anything, to be fair. He's one of these fast-paced guys. So my dad asked if I could keep him calm and stop him from getting hurt. Shows who the favourite is, right? Because if I fall off the top of a cage, then it's fine. But if he does, oh no, got to protect him. So that was why the tag team happened with me and my brother. But at the same time, we have that natural chemistry where he can do the more daredevil stuff, and I do the lazier power guy stuff. Well, it's not lazier, but he calls it that. So it had a lot of room for the fallout in there, because of the styles, because of it's easy to tell a story and use a little bit of personal life and bring it into the performance, if that makes sense. So it's not something that's completely done and dusted, but my brother was doing really well with the fans. It was decided that I take the heel turn and let him have that momentum going forward, which was fine by me. So yeah, at the minute it's back to singles, but a lot of fun.
You've built a great school where you've got this production line of young talent that you help mold into professional wrestlers. and obviously that influence that you will soak up from all different types of characters and matches and different countries will obviously help, because you're working with different styles with each one, aren't you? And you've got to try and help them, you know, learn what they can do with their character or their persona or their body shape and so on. How enjoyable is that when you work closely with pure exciting wrestling fans and they're learning their way? How enjoyable is it for you to see them suddenly grow because you create so many talents?
It's like watching your kids do stuff, you know, for the first time. So the excitement of they get into the ring the first time is, you know, you don't know them. And that's just nice to see that innocence, you know, behind what we're getting ourselves into. The ones who take the first bump and realize, oh, you know, this sucks. But then they get up and want to do it again. It's good to see. It's good to see people get over fears. You know, that's one of the best feelings, you know, when we've got a full gym and someone really struggles with something, everybody here gets behind. We've got a real good group here before lockdown. I don't know what it's going to be like coming out of it. Hopefully we have, you know, the same atmosphere, because to me, that's what's important. But yeah, just seeing everyone get together as a team is fantastic. And then seeing their first matches, you know, you're like a proud parent. And then seeing the first match where they really show the signs of being that performer that they want to be, because it's very different. You know, your first match is very different to that first match where you've become the character rather than playing the character. Does that make sense? So, and then watching people go out and work independently, you know, it just keeps going on. You know, you do feel like a proud parent watching them sort of fly the nest, so to speak.
I was going to, obviously, it's not for me to put you on the spot and ask you about the graduates so far, but obviously I know I've had a conversation with you and I've flagged up how much of a fan I am with the likes of Eliza Rue and Will Cruz, and I'm particularly a big fan of Mr. Damien Valentine right now, and I think his character's phenomenal. Are there people that you've sort of, like you mentioned, the group that you're working with at the moment, are there any in there that you feel are going to sort of build to that level that we'll be able to get across like those guys? Is that what you keep hoping to achieve with them?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've also got Brett Myers, who came from here. And the thing with the guys you've named and with Brett is you've got different body shapes, different sizes. You've got girls, you've got guys. And for me, it's important to use them guys with the newer guys who come in to say, you know, when Will Cruz first walked in the door, you could see the confusion on his face as to why we were teaching him to land on the mat, because to him it was 100% real. You know, so if we can go from that to just before lockdown kicked in, he was supposed to be going to ICW. It shows that you can do it if you've got that mentality. You know, if we get our juniors group, we don't teach them in the same way we teach the over 16s, but it's predominantly young girls who come to our juniors groups, and every single one of them looks up to Eliza Rue, you know, to the point where I ask everybody who comes through the door, I try and ask everybody who comes through the door, if they could have a dream match with anybody from America, who would the top 5 be? If they know any British wrestlers, who would their top 5 be from the UK? And all of our junior girls, Eliza Rue. You know, so they are a great benchmark, I'd say, for this place for the younger ones or the newer ones to come in and aspire to. So just before lockdown was kicking in, we had JOC, who was starting to make a good name for himself, Jack of Clubs, Dalton Chase, Tobin Grace. He didn't really want to go to other places, but within our groups, he was a pretty well-known name. So I'll forget people, so I apologize for anybody who watches this who I may have forgotten. My brother was starting to get a lot of attention. My daughter, Kaya, had started working a few promotions outside of here. And then the show that we had to cancel because of the lockdowns, we were going to debut Eden Frost and I've forgotten his ring name, Caleb, were two who were going to make debuts. And I think their characters were going to really, shine as well as their abilities, and to watch them go forward was really exciting for us. But unfortunately, we find ourselves in COVID lockdowns.
Yeah. But the positive thing is, obviously, people can watch a lot of your content online. I was watching one of your matches on YouTube the other night, the 4-on-4 for the control of Fight Factory Wrestling, and Will Cruz was the referee. So that was I'd not seen that match before.
Yeah,
and it was
that's going back.
Yeah, and it was really enjoyable. Really enjoyable to see, because obviously I've seen him wrestle and know how his career is developing, and obviously I'm a big fan of his work. But it was quite cool to see, and I was thinking, oh yeah, and that's how he's learned his game, and that's how he's got into the industry, and that's another reason why you help them learn so well about what they're doing, is because you put them in different roles and get them involved in a match quite early. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Robbie X. What's it been like working closely with him with Fight Factory Wrestling the last few years?
Oh, I love Rob. He's brilliant. He brings a lot to the locker room. Not just his match, he's happy to sit with the newer guys and help them. He's happy to sit behind the curtain and watch their matches to give them feedback. He personally was there the weekend my mum was dying. So I'll do anything for Rob. And the same with Will Jackson as well. It was them two who really helped me on the show I was doing when my mum was in hospital in her final days. So yeah, Rob's he's very busy, so it's hard to always get our schedules to mix up right. But yeah, I love Rob.
For yourself personally, the Dutch character and obviously part of Fight Factory Wrestling, what are your sort of hopes over the next year when we get out of this great pause of lockdown and we can actually get wrestling action back in place? What would you like to be sort of doing over the next year or two?
Well, pre-lockdown, I spoke to Becca about it privately. I thought 1 year, maybe 2 years, and then call it a day for being in the ring. Just because I was feeling so hurt with all the little injuries I've had over the years. But now going forward, I'm happy to be in there as long as needed. I just want the new guys to climb the ladder. I want people to fly the nest. I want people to hit their goals. That's what's important for me. For them, if their goal is to be champion here, I want them to hit that goal. If their goal is to go and work, over in Spain, then that's what I want them to do. That's the important thing for me.
That's great.
Grow this place, grow them.
What does sort of wrestling mean to you in terms of an entertainment platform? What does it sort of? What do you want Fight Factory Wrestling, and what do you want your work to be viewed as?
I think personally, we're in such a lucky position to do this, that people want to pay to watch us perform, that it means we can always give something back. So most matches in my head need to be building up to our charity event. So predominantly body slams to cancer, but in any way, if our little company can help someone out of a bad situation, if it can help someone not think about treatments they're going through, or if it can donate a little something to a kid who's struggling, then that's what's important to me with this business. We can be in such a position to give something back that I think we should more of us should utilize that.